Get them to 100%. Alice fam event. Lights up. Get them lights up. Get them to 100% for the Alice fam event. Get them lights up. Get them to 100%. I know you want to see it. Yeah, I know you want to see it. And then push behind them trees. We give it to you freely. Please. What's up with you? Baby, don't you tease. Get them lights up. Get the lights up. Time to raise the lights up. Get them to 100% for the Alice fam event. Lights up. Get them lights up. Time to raise the lights up. Get them to 100%. Alice fam event. Cause I know y'all wanna see it. Yeah. I know y'all wanna see it. Say you wanna see it. Yeah, I know you wanna see it. I know you wanna see it. Say you wanna see it. I know you wanna see it. Yeah, we say we need it. Cause it's no more freebies. You came here to see me, please. Baby, don't you tease. Get the lights up. Get the lights up. Time to raise the lights up. Get them to 100% for the Alice fam event. Lights up. Get the lights up.
Represents so much. It really is beautiful. Thank you for all of the wonderful things that took place today. We've had a very successful day thus far, and important discussions as we work to end the killing and stop the war in Ukraine. We're all working for the same goal, very simple goal. We want to stop the killing, get this settled. I've just had the honor of being with President Zelenskyy, and all of the discussions that we've had. We covered a lot of territory, and I spoke indirectly with President Putin today. We're going to call President Putin right after this meeting. I'm sure we're going to have a solid meeting, good meeting, maybe a great meeting, and we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished, put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this. So I'm honored to welcome NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, who's a great gentleman, great political leader in Europe generally, but now he's the NATO Secretary General, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mark. Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom, our friend and my friend, and doing really well. And people like him a lot. We all like him. Everyone knows President Macron of France, who's been with me from the beginning, one of the first people I met as a foreign dignitary, and I liked him from day one. And I like him even more now. That's pretty good. That's unusual. That's a pretty unusual thing. Prime Minister Meloni of Italy,
it's just so unusual for President Trump to like people. It's very unusual that I like you one time before and I like you pretty good this much again. Like, you know, it's just unusual, you know, for Trump to like people. That's all. No biggie. It's just Trump.
Really a great leader and an inspiration over there. She's served now, even though she's a very young person, she's served there for a long period of time relative to others. They don't last very long. You've lasted a long time. You're going to be there a long time. Chancellor Merz of Germany, who is a very strong person, and a very strong leader and very highly respected in Germany. And he's my friend, and it's an honor to have him as my friend. Thank you very much. Very good. You look great with your tan. When did you get that tan? I want to get a tan like that. Presidents.
That President Trump want to get a tan like that? Come on. Right. It seems like it was just a bunch of egos being stroked on display, for the American people or for whoever was watching, really, because this was just one big, like, ego stroking contest. Hey, you got a lovely tan. I love that tan, and, Finland's here, one of the youngest. How does it feel to be young and powerful? And it just seems like a bunch of, like, ego stroking right here. One's in the chat if y'all are catching the ego stroking.
Of Finland, and he's somebody that, where are we here? Huh? We're oh, you look better than I've ever seen you look. But you've done a great job, and we wanted to have you here because you're somebody that we all respect. And you've had a lot to do with the success, I think, and the potential success. And thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. And the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who is somebody that we just made a big deal with all of those countries. I don't know. I think you might be more powerful than all these guys at this table. I don't know. But you
look how big he stroked her ego. I think you might be more powerful than everybody at the table, Ursula.
Thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor to have you. The Alaska Summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially. I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out, and I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure. We also need to discuss the possible exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are pretty obvious, very sad, actually, to look at them. And negotiating positions.
We're definitely going to change these war lines.
Also, you have
basically
President
what he's
Ukraine,
saying.
Who is you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelenskyy and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that.
Not
because
that I
we
want to do that.
A lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying, and we got to save them. Got to save it. 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people sometimes a week. All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelenskyy and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire. And so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's
share
very
that
attainable.
live. Share that live
and it
out.
can be done in the near future.
Share that live
With
out.
all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult and very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about, and we're really honored you guys came over. I mean, these are the heads of major countries. and respected all over Europe. And they speak for, largely, I think I should say, but pretty much for the other countries of Europe. And we will come to a resolution today, I think, on almost everything, including probably the security. And that's pretty much the story. I'd like to say, Mr. President, would you like to say something? You have the media. If you want, you could come over and you could stand, you could use mine, or you could just turn around, whichever you feel comfortable with.
Thank you so much. I can speak without microphone. Thank you so much. I think that we had very good conversation with President Trump.
Very good.
And it really was the best one. Or sorry, maybe the best one will be in the future. But it was really good. And we spoke about very sensitive points. The first one is security guarantees. And we are very happy with President that all the leaders are here, and security in Ukraine depends on the United States and on you and on those leaders who are with us in our hearts. They have been online before yesterday, and etc. So a lot of countries on the side of Ukraine, our people, and all of us want to finish this war, stop Russia and stop this war. We spoke about it, and we will speak more about security guarantees. This is very important that the United States gives.
When are those kids getting released? When every day that those kids stay away from their parents is a day closer to them forgetting, not remembering their family. It's a day, it's one more day that they got to stay in a lie. When are those 20,000 kids being released?
Children, and I hope that really it can be a historic role for the people to bring kids back to the families and be happy.
Get the people back, yeah.
Yes, this is so important, and I'm happy that we discussed it, this track with the President Trump, and I hope that we will find decisions. And then what is very important.
Who knows what's happening to them kids right now?
Territorial, etc. We will discuss on the level of leaders during the trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you
both
participate.
want me there, I will be there.
Yeah, thank you. And I think this is very important. Yes, so security guarantees, bring kids back, and all our people.
Get them likes up. Get them likes up. Hit that like button. Hit the three dots at the top of the screen and hit that like button. A30B. Don't know what that means, but welcome back, James.
And I showed the President a lot of details on the battlefield, on the map. Thank you so much. Thank you for the map, by the way.
Good map.
It was great. Yeah. I'm thinking how to take it back.
We'll get you.
No. I think that we had constructive, specific meeting, and I'm very thankful to all the leaders who are here, and you help a lot, and so we're happy that we have such big unity today.
What you guys think about
Zelenskyy?
I don't know, a lot of people saying maybe like, there's a lot of money involved, there's billions of dollars involved, so on and so forth. There's a lot of money being pushed around at this table that's not being spoke about. They're making a lot of money in this fight.
Very soon, like immediately.
President's talking about,
which I think is
$300 billion from NATO.
Set that up today after this meeting.
And talking about other deals that were set up. So,
Mark, as head of NATO,
there's a lot of money being pushed around.
Yes, I will be very brief. I really want to thank you, President of the United States.
Listen to what NATO said.
As I said before, broke the
about money.
Basically, with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call. And from there, we are now where we are today. And that is, I think, if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm really excited. And let's make the best out of today and make sure that from today onwards, we get this thing to an end as soon as possible. I really want to thank you for your leadership, what you are doing for.
Let's listen what President say about the 2% that want the 5%.
Have said I'm willing to participate in the security guarantees is a big step. is really a breakthrough, and it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And so we appreciate that. That was a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
If you guys want, come over to the Discord. We can open up the live chat in the Discord and have a live watch party discussion about this. If you guys want, you can just come over to the Discord. I can open up a live room in the Discord, and we can hold an open discussion about it if you want.
With you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine, stop the killing. This is really our common interest, stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 lies security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been
You can go watch it yourself,
There's mother,
Joshua.
grandmother.
You don't have to
Every
listen to
single
me
child
or worry
has to go
about me
back to
talking
its
over it.
family.
You can go watch it
This
yourself.
should be one of our main priorities also
Oh, okay,
in these
James, that's
negotiations,
all right.
to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine to
The
their families.
children.
Thank you. And
That's
we did.
important.
I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So
See?
it's a big.
He
That's a,
keeps talking about them trade deals. That's what he keeps talking about. Them trade deals.
well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelenskyy of Ukraine.
No, wait, this was the first
and
time.
we've been working.
That was the first meeting.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelenskyy of Ukraine, and we've been working very hard, very close. So we.
No, that's the first meeting.
He broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come.
This is the part that I was talking about, how they talk to him. How they talk to him right here, we definitely needed to clean this up.
Come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are
Watch
going
his
around
body language.
and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problem. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into
Oh,
this
okay,
conflict.
okay.
Ukraine, but you say what problems we have.
I have been to.
Come on.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had
Listen to
problems
Vance. Listen to how he
people
talking to
in the
him.
military? And do you think
This
it's
is
respectful
unacceptable.
to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
When he said that you'll feel it in the future, oh, that irritated the hell out of Trump.
Yes, you will not
You
have
gotta-
war.
Yeah, you're gonna bring
Don't
it
tell
in
us what we're gonna feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're gonna feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering you.
position to dictate that. You're in no position to dictate what we're gonna feel. We're gonna feel very
You will
good.
feel influence.
We're gonna feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not in a
Mr.
good
Yeah,
position.
you wanna say Russia
You don't
coming.
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
Not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You play
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
Look at how this conversation is going. Like, that February conversation was one of the worst acts of diplomacy. I don't know what to call that. But that one in February was terrible. It was terrible. So disrespectful. One's in the chat. One's in the chat. Y'all think? What y'all think? This one was terrible, right? Everybody put a 1 in the chat. You think this one was terrible? I think this one was terrible. This meeting right here, this little exchange right here, this is when stuff went south. When he started saying, like, do you think it's right for you to come in here without a suit on and wear that attire and so on and so, I said, oh shit, it is going down. I mean, they might as well just put on gloves right there in the Oval Office.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once? This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you? You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of
Listen to that. Listen to that. Them motherfuckers said you want and campaign for the opposition. They mad because he campaigned for Biden. Oh, you want and campaign for the opposition. You know what I mean? Like, where's your campaign buddy now? Huh? This first one was terrible. This first exchange of words were terrible. I'm so glad they cleaned it up for that second trip and did all of that nice talk in front of us. Because if this is how they were going to talk in front of us that second trip, it would have looked bad.
appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly.
Look at Trump, cut him off. They're jumping him right
You've done a
now.
lot of talking.
Hey, listen. I know word battle, right? I know word battle. We deal with it all the time on YouTube and TikTok, right? They jumped him, right? As soon as he wanted to go defend himself to the vice president, Donald jumped in. Oh, he's not being loud. He's not. Yes. Dude kept talking over him, yelling over him. Yes. He was trying to keep a certain tone. I don't think, do people know when they do this?
The country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. Speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this.
I...
You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President.
He told that man, you are not winning this. Damn, that February conversation was bad. He told that man, you not winning this. You could see it on Zelensky's face back then. You could see it back then. He's like, what? Hold up now.
We are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment.
Hold on, did he just say?
$150 billion. You haven't
In
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment.
You
And you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If
West?
you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
some.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times,
accept that there,
thank you
accept
to
that,
American people.
accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. You're
He
people
keeps
that
saying,
died.
this is
You're
not
running
cards.
low
I
on
know.
soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't play,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire.
Now, you take what President Trump told him back in February, right? He said you'll get a ceasefire faster than da-da-da-da, right? All this ceasefire talk, right? This is what President is arguing him about, right? Because back then, he said he didn't want a ceasefire, right? The Ukrainian president said he didn't want a ceasefire, right? Trump was telling him, you'll get a ceasefire, you're losing men, so on and so forth. So Trump was pushing for him to get the ceasefire back then. And you bring it up to, yesterday's meeting, Trump is like, I done many wars without ceasefire. I've done many wars without ceasefire, right? This is why they say, flip-flopping, right? This is where that flip-flopping come in at, right? You got to be careful with this. You might get flip-ma-dipped.
And what they think.
That wasn't with me. That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice.
Damn.
Sorry.
Look at Zelensky's face.
Because the attitudes have to change.
He is smug. Like right now, look at his body language. He is mad as fuck.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if the bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt.
Keep it for
us. They
us.
used him and Russia.
You don't have
Russia,
any
Russia,
cards.
Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat
Shifty
scam.
Adam Schiff.
And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy.
I empowered you to be a tough guy.
I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh?
Damn.
This is going to be great television, I will say that.
Look at his face. Look at the faces that he's making. He is live right now. He is lived. He said, I empowered you to be a tough guy. I don't think you would be tough without us. This was a lot of, I'm glad the second conversation didn't go like this, because this conversation right here was a bit much. It was a bit much. This was the one in February. This is not a phone.
All right, we'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thank you. We'll see, I don't know.
That shit got ugly bad. Like that, it's you know, it's such a good thing that other one didn't go like this. Like the next one.
Hey everybody, Dr. G.
Hold on, that's not the one. You said you wouldn't be shocked, or you would be? So this was the second one. This was the second Oval Office meeting. The Ukraine president came a lot more dressed for the occasion. He has a suit on, so on and so forth. You hear him joke with the reporter, because there was a reporter the first time who said, you know, why do you come in here with this attire on, so on and so forth. And he said, maybe next time, you know, I wear a suit. You know, he said, I might even wear a suit better than yours. So you'll hear that joke here where he said, you know, this time I wore a suit. You still got on the same suit from last time, you know, so I changed, you didn't change. He makes that joke with the reporter who shunned him the last time, or, you know, got on him the last time. So they cleaned up a lot of the stuff from last time. A lot of the argument of stuff, like how they, because basically they bantered him, if you would say. I want to say banter. I don't know what to call it. Like, I don't want to say belittle, berated maybe. I don't know what word to use. But the first time he was in the Oval Office, it looked it bad. So they cleaned up a lot of it this time around, you know, part two.
Progress is being made, very, very substantial progress in many ways.
Hey,
We had a good meeting.
one's in the chat. One's in the chat if you think that Trump is on the right path with this peace thing.
And I think there's a possibility that
One's in the chat if you think this whole peace thing is the good way to go. I believe in peace. If you believe in peace, put a 1 in the chat. And make sure you like the page. Like the page.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. If I can, first of all, thank you for invitation, and thank you very much for your efforts.
Look, he got that black suit on this time around.
And stop this war. Thank you. And using this opportunity, many thanks to your wife, First Lady of the United States. She sent a letter to Putin about our children, abducted children, and my wife, she, First Lady of Ukraine, she gave the letter. It's not to you, to your wife.
No, I want
Yeah. So
Trump said, I wanted the letter. He said, this letter is not to you, it's your wife's. Now, I wanted the letter. Black suit means death. Well, it's a lot of death going on over there. It's a custom for them to wear black during wartime.
All partners around Ukraine supporting us. Thanks to them, and thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you very much for being here.
President Trump.
Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, President Zelenskyy, you say in the Post on X today, Russia must end this war, which it itself started. President Trump, you say President Zelenskyy of Ukraine can end the war with Russia almost immediately if he wants to. Which is it?
No, I think that's true. I think we're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
And is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years now that a lot of people were killed.
Nobody tell Trump what to do.
I mean,
Nobody.
Millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week, for whatever reason, a big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And
You're gonna be waiting forever for that list to come out.
Myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
And as you met with Putin on Friday, today you've got President Zelensky here. As you listen to Russia and Ukraine, which side has the better cards? Right
Well, I don't want to say that. I'm just here to be, look, this isn't my war. This is Joe Biden's war. He's the one that had a lot to do with this happening, and we want to get it ended. And we want it to end good for everybody. We want it to end good. The people of Ukraine have suffered incredibly.
And to that point, President Zelensky, are you prepared to keep sending Ukrainian troops to their deaths for another couple of years, or are you going to agree to redraw the maps?
Thank you for your question. So, first of all, we live under each day attacks. That today have been a lot of attacks and a lot of wounded people, and the child was dead. Small bomb.
I believe all of this is a show to get people to forget about the
We need
list.
to stop this war, to stop Russia.
Joke
We need
on me,
support
now they are all
American and European
weirdos.
partners. We will do our best.
Well, the world is one big stage, so.
And, I think
And,
we show that we are
that's
strong.
the real reality. One's in the chat if you know that the world is one big stage. One's in the chat if you know the world is one big stage. No one has been held accountable for anything as of yet. Yeah, I think those kids need to be back in their families' homes, loved ones' homes. Who knows what's happening to them kids every day, that they are not at the house of someone who loves them. They can, heinous things are happening every day. So, that's why I just say, let's try to focus on the good. If there's a way that we can get peace, I think we should strive for that. Just having everybody at the table for a conversation of peace. Europe being at peace is great for America, especially if we lend a hand with that, right? Our our ties with, different countries might change based off of this right here. If Putin actually, agrees to some form of peace with this whole thing, let's hope it stands true. Let's hope it's not one of those things. It's like, as long as Trump is in the president's seat, and then soon as Trump get out the president's seat, Putin tries some bullshit. Let's hope it's not one of those things. You know what I mean?
People, and we supported the idea of the United States, of personnel, President Trump, to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war, and we are ready for trilateral, as President said. This is a good signal about trilateral. I think this is very good. Thank you.
Mr. President.
If the peace deal will be achieved, are you going to be willing to send American peacekeepers to Ukraine?
Well, we're going to work with Ukraine, we're going to work with everybody, and we're going to make sure that if there's peace, the peace is going to stay long-term. This is very long-term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. We're going to make sure that everything's good. We'll work with Russia, we're going to work with Ukraine, and we're going to make sure it works. And I think if we can get to peace, it's going to work. I have no doubt about it.
Your team has talked about security guarantees. Would that involve U.S. troops? Would you roll that out in the future?
We'll let you know that maybe later today. We're meeting with 7 great leaders of great countries also, and we'll be talking about that. They'll all be involved, but there'll be a lot of help. When it comes to security, there's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good. They are first line of defense because they're there. But we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
Vladimir Putin mentioned that the war will not end without addressing the root causes of this war. Have you had an understanding what are the root causes of this war?
Well, look, the war is going to end. When it ends, I can't tell you, but the war is going to end, and this gentleman wants it to end, and Vladimir Putin wants it to end. I think the whole world is tired of it, and we're going to get it ended. It was, I've done 6 wars. I've ended 6 wars, and I thought this maybe would be the easiest one, and it's not the easiest one. It's a tough one. A lot of reasons for it, and they'll be talking about it for a long time. But they'll be talking about the others. Look, India, Pakistan. We're talking about the big places. When you look at, you just take a look at some of these wars. You go to Africa and take a look at that. Rwanda and the Congo, Republic of the Congo. That's been going on for 31 years. And so we've done a total of 6, and we really have 6, not including the fact that we obliterated, and it turned out to be a total obliteration, the nuclear, as you said, the future nuclear capability of Iran. And this one, I think we're going to get solved also. I feel confident we're going to get it solved.
111 in the chat. 111 in the chat. That means everybody shared a live. Everybody shared a live one time. 111 in the chat.
Well, we're going to be meeting with a great representative group and 7 very powerful, very big countries and great people, all friends of mine and friends of yours. And we're going to have some suggestions made. They want to see peace. They would like to see peace. In the red.
President Trump, do you think it's fair to, for Ukraine and for Russia to achieve a lasting and durable peace if Ukraine cedes its territories that Russia hasn't yet conquered? Do you think it's a fair peace for Ukraine?
We're going to have a lasting peace. Just to answer the first part of your question, we're going to have a lasting peace. I hope it's going to be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people of the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced.
You posted on social media, Mr. President, a very touching letter from the First Lady, and the letter was hand-delivered to President Putin, and it calls for an end to the war, essentially, because of the children and the children's future. Why did the First Lady feel that letter was necessary? Was it because she believed that Mr. Putin is the aggressor in the war? Is a similar letter being hand-delivered to President Zelenskyy?
So the First Lady felt very strongly. She's watched the same thing that you watch and that I watch. I see things that you don't get to see, and it's horrible. But when she's got a great love of children, she has a wonderful son that she loves, probably more than anybody, including me. I hate to say it, but she loves her son. She loves children. And she hates to see something like this happening, and that goes for other wars too. I mean, she sees the heartbreak, the parents, the funerals that you see on television. Always funerals. We want to see something other than funerals. No, she felt it was a beautiful letter. It was very well received by him, and she did ask me to say, you know, she would love to see this end. She would love to see it end, and she says it very openly, very proudly, and with great sorrow, because so many people have been killed.
Mr. President, last week,
Brian, go ahead, Brian.
Yes, sir. I've got a question for each of you.
Yes.
First of all, Mr. President Zelenskyy, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
See?
You look good.
I said the same thing.
That's the guy who made the suit joke the first time, right? So that's he didn't make a suit joke, but he did say something about the suit the first time. And watch how President Trump reminds President Zelenskyy, like, hey, that's the reporter. You see, he's you know, you watch how he says it. And then, you know, this is why I say the world is one big stage. This is when President of Ukraine gets back at the reporter and say, you know, I put on a suit, I changed. I see you got the same suit on. Watch, listen.
Yeah,
That's the one that attacked you last time. See, now he's in-
I remember
yeah,
that.
I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelenskyy.
In the same suit.
He said, but you're in the same suit.
Yours is much better.
He said, I changed, you didn't.
Real quickly, upon peace, God willing we get peace, are you open to holding an election in your country?
Yes, of course. We are open for election, yes. We have to do safety circumstances, and a little bit we need to work in the parliament, because during the war you can't have elections, but we can do security. We need, we need a truth, yes, everywhere, the battlefield, in the sky, and the sea, yeah, to make possible for people to do democratic, open, legal elections.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean we happen to be in a war with somebody. No more elections. Oh, it's good. I wonder what the fake
You like
news
this
is.
idea?
Yeah.
No.
Speaking of news, I got a question for you. This sounds insane for me even to ask this. But do you think the American media really doesn't even want a peace deal? Because they've seen they've been so critical of you every step of the way as you lead the charge for peace.
It's an amazing phenomenon. I said that if in the settlement you got Moscow, St. Petersburg, and thousands of miles around them, they would say I made a bad deal. The level of hatred and animosity is incredible. Not with all. I mean, we have great people up here. We also have terrible people up there that I think are told what to say. But, you know, in solving all of these wars, they don't even write about it. You know, I saw major wars. I saw wars that have been going on for 31, 35, and 37, and a couple of quicker ones. One that was going to go into a full-blown deal very quickly. You know, the one I'm talking about, it was a big one. But they don't even write about that.
Never heard of what?
No matter what I do, no matter what, and you know, this is not anything to do with you. It's probably to your advantage in a certain way. But no
Hey
matter
man,
what I
shout
do,
out
no
to
matter
everybody
what
in the comment
from
section
my
for holding
standpoint,
great conversation in the
you'll come out
comment
there,
section,
maybe
and you know,
President
just
Putin
you know,
will come
typing
out
amongst yourselves and
they'll say,
you know, holding
Trump was
you know good
absolutely
convo. I see some
horrible.
good conversation going on in the comment
And I've
section.
lived
So
with that for
you know, shout
a
out
long
for that.
time. I've lived with it since just before the first election. I used to get great publicity. Now I get the worst publicity anyone's ever gotten in office, but I won in a landslide, so that people understand. They're the only ones that count, ultimately. But I've also had great reporters. I've had journalists that are very good. But it's very sad when you do the right thing. As an example, they said, because of the fact that Vladimir Putin came to American soil, this was a tremendous defeat for
He
Donald
said,
Trump.
"Bro is a crybaby."
It was really wonderful that he did it. It was a hard thing for him to do, to be honest with you. It was the opposite of what they said, but they said it. Now, if he didn't come, they'd say that was also bad for Trump. Yeah, there's no way. And there's just a great dishonesty of the press, and I think that's why it's lost its credibility. You know, its credibility is at an all-time low. We have a thing going on right now in D.C. We went from the most unsafe place anywhere to a place that now friends are calling me up, Democrats are calling me up, and they're saying, "Sir, I want to thank you. My wife and I went out."
Democrats are calling him up.
First time in 4 years, and Washington, D.C. is safe, and you did that in 4 days. I'll tell you, it's safe. I had another friend of mine.
Whoa! You can't say stuff like that.
Who's a great golfer.
Chill out.
And he came in fourth yesterday in the big tournament where Scotty Scheffler made the great shot. And he said his son is going to dinner in Washington, D.C. tonight. I said, would you have allowed that to happen a year ago? He said, no way, no way. He said, what you've done is incredible. And I think the people realize it. But the press says, he's a dictator, he's trying to take over. No, all I want is security for But people that haven't gone out to dinner in Washington,
He had to try to laugh that off. That's not no joke.
Going out to dinner, and the restaurants the last 2 days were busier than they've been in a
But
long
I hope
time.
this peace thing go through. I'm all for this peace thing.
If you can walk around with DC with MTG and not be attacked, the city is safe.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week, you warned of what you called severe consequences if a 30-day ceasefire or any type of ceasefire were not agreed to by Russia. Will there be severe consequences? Does that change because of the
I don't
meeting
think
with
you need a
President
ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like the concept, you know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire.
Can you explain the decision to offer Ukraine Article 5 like security guarantees, but stop short of pushing for their full membership?
Yeah, well, we haven't done anything on that yet. If you look back and you go back long before President Putin, it was always a statement that they would never allow Ukraine into NATO. So that was a statement that was made, but we haven't discussed any of that yet. We're going to be discussing it today. But we
What's
will
up,
give them
Greg?
very good
Great to
protection,
have
very
you
good
back.
security.
Great to have you back.
And the people that are waiting
No
for
peace
us,
until we get the
they
truth.
I think they're very like-minded. They
Well,
wanna-
you must
they
be in
wanna-
Russia, because if you see, that's what I say. That's why I say, like, Russians believe that Obama did them a great disjustice, and I wish I had like some people in here who really understood. Like, you know, Obama caused a lot of Russian sanctions, right? And those sanctions have hurt them dramatically. And the people are in the outrage because of these sanctions. And a lot of things are not going to be healed until we actually have at the truth and be able to heal on all sides of this, right? And we can go back further in history and talk about the things Russia did, and we can go back and talk about who did what to who. We can always say, they started it, right? But at this age, at our grown adult age, we should be able to allow bygones to be bygones and move forward in a way of peace and prosperity. Hopefully, right? That's all we can be hopeful for, is peace. Everyone has a different way of getting there. Everyone has a different idea of what peace is, but hopefully, right? That's all we want, is the hope of peace. No, you can't take that away from us, right? If Trump is pushing for an idea of peace right now, that's a step. That's a step. Who knows? If Trump can, you know, this is the argument that you need right here. If Trump can get them at peace, you can go anywhere and say, hey, listen, if Putin can become peaceful, anybody can do it, right? This could be one of those exemplary things, right?
President, thank you, President Trump.
disappointed there's no
The United
ceasefire,
States,
President?
the United States has already given hundreds of billions of dollars to this war effort in Ukraine. At best, it is a stalemate and the killing continues. So President Trump, how much more is the United States willing to give Ukraine? And President Zelenskyy, how much more do you want?
Well, I'll start off just by saying we're not giving anything now. We're selling.
Watch,
weapons.
Zelensky's going to say, well, you know, it's going to take billions of dollars.
I guess the number is well over $300 billion. That was under Joe Biden, a corrupt politician, not a smart man, never was. By the way, go back 40 years, he was not a smart man 40 years ago either. But now he's in particular bad. This was done by a
I mean, the
corrupt
Democrats got a
administration.
chance here, you know, with this whole thing on the table. You can go back and argue the whole immigration thing. You can go back and argue a lot of things, you know. If you want peace, then, you know, be at peace with inside our country and give us some of these, you know, different variations, you know what I mean? And you want peace over there, how about the Democrats and the Republicans piece things up, you know what I mean? Let's start there.
Other areas and other countries because of what's happened, none of that would have happened. And I'm just saying that he was a horrible president, whether it was the borders or this, he was just a horrible, corrupt president.
I can. Thanks so much. So first of all, we have possibility now to buy weapons from the United States. We're thankful for this program and this opportunity. We're thankful for they pay for this, and through NATO program for example, Pearl and etc. We have some programs where we can have some money to finance this, and this is a part. I think it's not a part for the war and to defend us. It also will be a part for security guarantees, to strengthen our army, to rearm Ukrainian army. This is very, very important. And it depends how much money we need to rearm. For example, the question of air defense, we spoke about it with President Trump, and I'm happy that we have now bilateral decisions and we work on it with production, American production. Nobody in Europe has so many air defense like Patriots, for example. We need it very much, and this is also about defending.
think the thing is, we make the best military equipment in the world by far. You mentioned the Patriots. How good are they?
Systems.
We have systems, they're literally 100% foolproof. And it's really like shooting two bullets, two bullets hitting each other in the air in a space like this. The chance is 100%. It's 99 to 100%. So we sell the equipment to NATO. And NATO does what, I don't know what the arrangement is. That
Yeah, he didn't wear that tracksuit this time.
They want you to have the equipment. And we're getting the best equipment in the world, but they pay us for the equipment. Under Biden, it was just crazy what was going on. I believe the number is over 300. I think it could be $350 billion worth of equipment and money and everything else. And we've made more progress in settling this war in the last 2 months than they made in 4 years. This should have been settled a long time ago, but it should have never happened. Yeah, please.
You pushed out on social media.
All right, Brian, go first.
You pushed out on social media about doing away with mail-in ballots and potentially electronic voting machines. Can you expand on that and how important
Well, that's a very off-topic, just really quickly.
Right. He wanted Brian. He pays Brian to ask these questions. He's paying Brian to ask these questions.
And we, as a Republican Party, are going to do everything possible that we get rid of mail-in ballots. We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country.
Because, hey, listen, collective tribal consciousness, right? If you listen, then you're not going to have to worry about the what's backwards or not, right? Because this is a listening party, right? I'm just giving you the visual of it, right? But it's nice to see that you guys are still coming about in the room. And I'm not watching TV. This is literally on the computer. We're not watching no damn TV. That's how old school y'all is. What are y'all, from the 60s? What, you still got a floor model in your house, turning it with some pliers or something? Get your ass up out of here. What's going on with you, Mike? How's everything? Love is love. Namaste. I say salutation, salam. Don't mind the haters popping in and popping out. That's what happens on YouTube. You got haters that pop in and pop out. You know what I mean? You're not smart enough to talk politics. I didn't know you had to be smart to talk politics. That don't even make sense. Fuck, tell me what type of degree you gotta have to talk politics, to just have a conversation about politics. Is there a school you gotta go to? Did I miss something? Is there a certain level? High school diploma? What? 2 bachelors? What you gotta have? I thought you just gotta be there for the conversation. I thought that's how you had to be. Be present for the conversation, voila magic. Right. That's all you really need, is to memorize what the fuck going on in the current events.
Mail-in ballots, because they're corrupt, and you know that we're the only country in the world, I believe, I may be wrong.
The body language is crazy the last time, right, Mike?
Because of what's
Hands
happening.
all over the place.
All over the place. The other thing we want change are the machines. For all of the money they spend, it's approximately 10 times more expensive than paper ballots. And paper ballots are very sophisticated with the watermark paper and everything else. We would get secure elections, we'd get much faster results. The machines, I mean, they say we're gonna have the results in 2 weeks.
And Sandra, that's how you know they don't make no sense, because first they said it was bots in here. So what does it matter if me and bots are watching TV together, right? Now they saying, oh, you think people gonna watch you talk politics and like, damn. I mean, every now and again, you would like to know when something is hanging from your nads. You know what I'm saying? But the way they do it over here on YouTube, it's like they hang from your nads, and they almost do it unnoticeably. Like, you don't even know they hanging from your nads. You know what I'm saying?
With paper ballots, you have the results that night. Most people, many countries use paper ballots. It's the most secure form. So between paper ballots, very, very important.
King Break, what's going on?
And I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting.
Release the Epstein.
If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting You will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt.
Just be informed when you
when you
talk.
go to a voting booth and you do it the right way,
What did you hear me say that I was misinformed about? That's what that's what I don't get. Half of y'all come in here and say stuff, and all this is a listening and watch party. We're listening, we're discussing, we're talking. That's it.
But it's very hard to cheat with mail-in voting. As you know what happens in California, it's so corrupt, where some people get 5, 6, 7 ballots delivered to them.
Regular people like talking about stuff like this too.
Republicans have to lead the charge.
We the regular people like talking about this shit.
Horrible policy. If you have mail-in voting, you're not going to have many Democrats get elected. That's bigger than anything having to do with redistricting, believe me. And the Republicans have to get smart. We're not going to have a...
I want to talk about that redistricting shit too, because that redistricting, that shit look like the Hunger Games map. You know what I'm saying? That redistrict shit look like the Hunger Games map.
In 90 days, Mr. President...
You seen the districts? You got like 15 districts and shit. You're not even gonna be the United States no more. If you in the upper half, you just gonna be District 14 and shit. Where you from? You ain't from Detroit or Chicago. You from District 7.
2 years ago, 3 millions of people poured into our country. It was terrible. Thank you very much.
From President Trump to be able to make a deal? Is it American troops, intelligence, equipment? What is it?
It's equipment.
Everything.
Everything.
Really,
Damn.
That
I need everything from America. Damn.
That's what I began to.
He said I need every stuff from America. Damn. Yo, what do you need from America? He said everything.
We will discuss with our partners. It depends on the big countries, on the United States, on a lot of our friends.
And Mr. President, are you willing to commit American troops to that NATO-like protection in order to get President Zelenskyy to a deal today?
Well, I don't know if you define it that way, but NATO-like, I mean, we have people waiting in another room right now. They're all here from Europe, biggest people in Europe. And they want to give protection. They feel very strongly about it, and we'll help them out with it. I think it's very important. I think
They don't like. What do you agree with? More rockets?
What would you say to the Ukrainian people right now who are suffering under the Russian attacks and hoping that the American people will stand with them?
Well, I know Ukrainian
The biggest people from
and,
Europe are there, 8 foot tall,
They're smart, they're
450
energetic.
pounds.
They love their country.
Oh, this
They
shit
love
does
their
not
country,
like.
and we want to get this
seems to
war
me
ended.
really.
That's all I can do.
Your state votes
I love the
30%
Ukrainian
Republican,
people,
and
but
you
I
should
love
have
all people. I love
30%
the Russian
Republican
people.
leaders.
I love them all.
Or
I want to get the
vice
war
versa.
stopped. Very important.
Is there any aspect of your discussion with Vladimir Putin that left you disappointed?
Look, we just spoke to, I was just telling the president, I just spoke to President Putin indirectly, and we're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today. And we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues. And if we do, we have a good chance. I think if we have a trilat, there's a good chance of maybe ending it. But he's expecting my call when we're finished with this meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that second one went a lot better than the first one, right? That second one went a lot better than the first one. That first one was a complete shit show. You know, I mean, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't a complete shit show. It was all right at some points.
European Commission
what you are doing for Volodymyr, but of course also all the European colleagues, it is really crucial. And the fact
It had its moments, right?
willing to participate in the security guarantees.
Ukraine is about to lose some land. Now let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. One's in the chat. One's in the chat if you think Ukraine is about to lose some land. This has always been about land, right? Russia wanted more territory, right? Is it the oil? Are they out of oil? Are they low on oil? What is it? The minerals? Because this is about that land. Like, we can look at the maps, we can look at it. The only other solution is to keep fighting. Well, Ukraine cannot keep fighting without America's support. All right, so it's all a trick then. It's all a gimmick. Is that what we saying? It's all a gimmick then. Release the Epstein.
Breakthrough, and it makes all the difference. So also thank you for that.
Well, NATO also has agreed from 2% to 5%, which is something that is a massive amount of money. And it's 2% that wasn't always paid to 5% that is paid. That's a big difference. And so we appreciate that. That's a great move. Thank you very much. Ursula, maybe on behalf of the Commission, you could say a couple of words.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a very important moment. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit. Together as the two largest and biggest economies in the world, we had the largest trade deal ever agreed. And now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest, stop the killing. And indeed, it's very good to hear that we're working on the security guarantees, Article 5 lies security guarantees, so important. But I want to thank you also that you mentioned the thousands of Ukrainian children that have been abducted. And as a mother and grandmother, every single child has to go back to its family. This should be one of our main priorities also in these negotiations, to make sure that the children come back to Ukraine, to their families.
Thank you, and we did. I was just thinking we're here for a different reason, but we just a couple of weeks ago made the largest trade deal in history. So that's a big thing, and congratulations. That's great. Thank you very much, Ursula. Mr. Chancellor from Germany, a very great leader.
Mr. President, Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that.
Hey, he brought backup for real, for real. They brought a lot of support, didn't they?
Today here in Washington.
I mean, he damn near brought every, well, okay, not every European, but he brought the ones that was essential to that borderline.
Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see a ceasefire.
Yes, right there. So, okay. So maybe this was, a way to get those Article 5 NATO security measures, right? Even though they are not a part of NATO, them having these security measures puts them under NATO protection in a sense, right? Because NATO will be providing the extra men, the extra people, so on and so forth, right? We might provide some stuff, but Trump is trying to guarantee that America doesn't have to go boots on the ground, right? So that's where the other people are going to come in at. That's where NATO's going to come in at. That's where, all these other people. So now, NATO, some soldiers that's in NATO or Finland, so on and so forth, they're going to provide aid, right? We're going to give the air support, and there's a trade deal on the table for us with over $300+ billion on there for, that deal, right? This is an arms trade. This is nothing more than a big ass arms trade, right? And Ukraine's going to lose some land, or it's going to be Ukrainian land, or Russia territory owned, or it stays in Ukraine. Somehow they're going to work out something for that land, right? We already heard Donald Trump say that Russia is already 90 or 79% in charge of Donetsk or whatever the fuck that place is, right? So you already look at the map and you already see the percentage of them owning half of that, right? All it really is for Russia to give Ukrainian soldiers time to get out of there and to get their civilians up out of there, so on and so forth. And then you just change the border lines. That's it.
This from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next
now we got to
meeting
get the people back, the children and the
ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today, are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from the next step on. So I would like to emphasize this aspect and would like to see a ceasefire from the next meeting, which should be a trilateral meeting wherever it takes place.
Well, we're going to let the president go over and talk to the president, and we'll see how that works out, and if we can do that. I will say, and again, I say it, in the 6 wars that I've settled, I haven't had a ceasefire. We just got into negotiations, and one of the wars was, as you know, in the Congo was 31 years long. Another one that we settled last week with 2 great countries was 35 years going on, and we had no ceasefire. So if we can do the ceasefire, great. And if we don't do a ceasefire, because many other points were given to us, many points were given to us, great points. Please, Georgia, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you, thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace. We will talk about many important topics. The first one is security guarantees, how to be sure that it won't happen again, which is the precondition of every kind of peace. I'm happy that we will discuss about that. I'm happy that we will begin from a proposal, which is the, let's say, Article 5 model, which was Italian at the beginning. So we are always ready to bring our proposals for peace, for dialogue.
They want to use that Article 5.
Together to guarantee peace and to defend the security of our nation. So thank you, Mr. President, for hosting us.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel?
Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this meeting and for your commitment. And everything was said, but I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up,
Ukraine has
we
to
need
give up
probably
some
a
land to
bilateral meeting,
Russia,
because when we
but
speak about security guarantees,
there's a
we
signed
speak about the
agreement
whole
for
security
rare
of the
minerals with the
European
U.S.
continent. And this is why we are all united
So it
to
is
represent
U.S.
Ukraine on this matter.
There's
In
nobody
order to
legit.
organize
That's
such
why
a
I'm saying we
trilateral
got to
meeting,
stay up
we
on
have
this,
to
guys.
ask
Make sure you
for
put your notification
truth,
on. Make sure you sub
at least
to the
stop
page.
killings,
Make sure
as we
you sub
discussed,
to the page,
is a
okay?
necessity.
That way we can
And
keep track of
we all
this.
support this
And we
idea.
can kick it, you know what I'm
And
saying?
in order
Hang
to have
out,
such a long-standing
build.
peace for Ukraine,
I'm going to go over to TikTok and play the game.
security.
I got to go over to TikTok and play the game. You guys are welcome to come join me over on TikTok, okay? Feel free to come join me. Energy of Atlas on TikTok. Come over to the Energy of Atlas page on TikTok. You can join me over there. I'm going over there to play the game. You see the page right here. Energy of Atlas. 18K followers. I'm going over there to play the game. You guys are welcome to come over there. Feel free to come over. If not, hope to see you in the morning when we start back conversation again around this topic and many more other topics, okay? Many more other topics, all right? And man, y'all have a great night, man. Have a blessed night, rest well. Hope you guys have a great night. If it's morning time, have a great morning. Whatever it is, just be great at it, you know what I mean? And I hope to see everybody tomorrow. I hope to see all you guys again tomorrow, Hope to see everybody tomorrow, Love is love, all right? I appreciate your time. I appreciate you kicking it here with me, I would kick it longer, but I know the haters gonna come. You know what I'm saying? Them haters start coming out at night. You see what time is getting, right? It's getting close. This is why our parents used to put us to bed around 10 o'clock, because them haters start coming out after 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Them haters start coming out, start popping up with all they negative, low vibrations and stuff. So we got to stay day walkers. We got to stay day walkers. You know what I'm saying? We got to get up out of here. Get up out of here. Don't go into the light, Carol Ann. Don't go into the light. That type of shit. They watching us. All right? Hey, I love y'all, man. Love y'all. 4:46 in Russia. Well, I appreciate you being here from Russia. Yeah, morning, night, morning, however you want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Morning, night, morning. Love you. Appreciate you for being here. You know what I'm saying? Morning, night, morning. You know what I'm saying? Same difference. As you can see, I got the PC set up. See, I got ADHD. Don't tell nobody, right? As you can see, I got the PC set up, right? And I got the double monitor set up, right? I actually got 3 monitors, but I ain't hooked the third one up yet. You know what I'm saying? Come on, I just got to be looking at a bunch of different stuff. And then I got my phone right here. So I just be looking and doing a bunch of different stuff. Welcome to the world of a hyperactive mind. I got to do all of this stuff just to wind down at the end of the night. And I'm only going to get 4 hours of sleep and be back at this shit first thing in the morning. So I use technology as a way to keep my mind active, because my mind be so active sometimes that I gotta do it like this. If not, I'll find myself doing dumb shit in the physical world, like giving somebody a chance that shouldn't have a chance, running out to do something. Somebody will come up with an idea like, hey man, let's go here. And I'm like, all right, come on, let's go to the, you know what I mean? Because I'm an active person. Like, I got a lot of energy, you know what I'm saying? So I got to burn all this energy off. So what I do is I use this as a way to burn all of my energy off. And then I also do push-ups and crunches and stuff throughout the day to burn all my energy off, and then maybe I'm able to lay down and get 4 hours of sleep. But that's neither here nor there. That's just letting you guys get to know me a little bit. Love is love. I'm not a funny body built character, as you can see. I'm not funny body built or anything like that. I'm not somebody that just sit around all the time, you know, some weirdo type person, you know what I mean? So I'm just me. I'm just me, and I hope you guys like, you know, the time and everything like that. So love is love. Appreciate you guys for being here. Oh, you lazy. Shut the fuck.